And he would tell him about the British ships and what it was like to be in the British Navy. And I guess like one of the deals is they have a position on board the British ships that's called the pusser.
The pusser.
Yes. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay.
I've heard of a coxswain.
Right. And yeah, that's a thing. But so anyway, there's...
Bulkhead.
Right. Wait, what's a bulkhead?
Apparently it's a wall.
Okay, cool.
Not a bunch of dudes hanging out in a room. No.
Sometimes, though. What's that above you, then?
Is it a spider?
Nope. No spider bits this time.
No spider bits this time.
So this is a bulkhead.
I don't... Okay, is it... I don't know what the fuck you call a roof. A ceiling.
An overhead.
An overhead?
Yeah.
So what's the deck?
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's the shit you step through?
Knee knockers? Watertight doors?
Yeah. Are you gonna like fucking clean your shins up?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, right. And they even have those on submarines as well.
Yeah.
I mean, not very many.
Man.
Right, but...
I could be in the Navy. Like, even when I was like fit and in shape, I was too fucking big.
No, I mean, I'll tell you, it was, especially on the sub, there was some tight spaces, and I'm not a very large guy, you know. There was one guy who was like 6'5", 6'4", and he walked around hunched like this everywhere he went, you know, and I bet you that guy, like, what's his VA claim look like? Like, I became Quasimodo because I was stationed on a submarine.
I'm the hunchback of the USS Dallas.
Oh my god. Okay.
Anyways, I'm Tatanka. This is Chief.
Head salute.
Tatanka.
So,
we're at the Chief and Tatanka show.
Yeah, Chief and Tatanka show.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the pusser story, right? So there's a position, it's called the pusser, and it has something to do with supply. Like that position is some kind of logistics or supply or something along those lines. Now, there was a title that the pusser would go by, or there was a particular pusser supply person that was named the Muppet because I'm serious, because he was the most useless pusser on board or something along those lines. So they called him Muppet.
I'm trying to imagine somebody in like an old-timey British accent, like early 1700s British Navy, like I can't even think of it. It's like fucking Muppet Puffin.
I know, like
you fucking Muppet.
No, right. So they're just like running around on these ships, these British ships, calling each other Muppets. Like
Muppet, you're such a pusser.
Oh man. Okay, so can I go down this rabbit hole for a second? Okay.
Start digging.
So I never got to. I don't think I ever went on any foreign Navy ships. However, I knew people in the United States Navy that were
been on like French frigates.
Right,
yeah.
French frigates, destroyers, or whatever. And on a lot of these ships, they serve you alcohol. Like, not in excess or anything, right? Like, it is regulated on how much you can have.
I know the French really like to drink.
Right.
A lot.
Right, like wine.
Yeah.
Wait, can I say that?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm French, so it's fine, I guess.
I mean, I have like one or two in there.
Okay, yeah, so... I don't know. That's interesting to me. I think it was maybe it was a British ship I'd heard about or Italian Navy ship I'd heard about. But yeah, it was like you could have alcohol like in cruise mess for dinner. It's like, how nice.
Yeah. I remember like being in trainings and then being like, okay, you can have one alcoholic beverage for dinner. Here's your Bud Light. Pass. No thanks. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah.
No, not
right. Yeah. When I was in Djibouti. Yeah. When I was in Djibouti, alcohol was kind of the same deal there, where you were allowed 2 drinks a day. Right. And so if you got a mixed drink, it was like it counted as your 2 drinks. You can get 2 beers. Or 1 glass of wine, or
like 2 servings. So if you got like a mixed drink, it was two servings of hard alcohol. Okay, yeah, tracking.
I'm glad you are. I don't know if they are, but whatever. Moving forward, so they had this beer. It's called Tusker beer, and it was like an African like lager beer. But the deal was it came in pints, and it counted only as 1 beer.
So you have 2 pints of beer for you too.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Good? Is it good though?
It wasn't bad. I mean,
I feel like African beer is gonna hit fucking different.
what the hell was that stuff called? It was called Tusker. Tusker, it was African. Yeah, I can't remember which like country inside the continent of Africa it was from. Maybe Kenya, I don't know. But anyway, it was called Tusker.
That's
is
wild.
the name of it, and it was actually pretty decent, which is surprising. I think
that is surprising. I feel like African beer would either be just a hot shit fucking mess, or you're drunk. Now, like
that's how Habasaki was for me.
Yeah,
I've told you about Habasaki.
Yes, you have.
Okay. Not elaborating about Habasaki.
We're not gonna. It's a Sturgis thing for you, huh?
Not elaborating.
We're not gonna go there.
Nope.
No.
Redacted.
Speaking of redacted, most of your career.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Do they literally just like Sharpie shit out, or is there?
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's literally just fucking like black. It's not a special redacting pen. Is it like fucking white out but black? Help me here.
Can't confirm, nor deny. Okay, so it's interesting, right? Because technology has come really far, and even there's tools and things that are used to do a lot of this for you now.
Yeah,
which is great because it takes a lot of the human error out of things.
Because you can figure on a computer, like there's still text behind it, right? You can still read it if you have the right equipment.
Right. But it's with modern technology, that process is a lot different, I will say. Now, if something were to be, and this is all, you can find this information, but if something were to be, for instance, say I wrote a book about all the cool or, whatever stuff I did.
Yeah.
I would need to run that through some kind of, mechanism that exists to ensure that there's nothing in there that shouldn't be there.
You're not breaking national security protocols,
right?
Whatever.
Which is interesting to me because it doesn't always work that way. Some people get a pass. I'm not.
Bob Lazar. What?
Yeah, that's crazy shit.
Right?
That's crazy shit.
Just kind of put it all out there for us.
And here's my deal about that. Okay, is not. I understand maybe you need to get it off your chest, and you feel like there's some kind of absolution and being honest and disclosing what you do or what you found in the capacity of a professional job. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, when you sign up, like you sign documents saying you are not going to do that specific thing.
Shut your damn mouth.
And the whole thing is however, if you feel for some reason morally
if it's violating like ethical policies or putting lives in danger, perhaps,
then there is another mechanism that you can report this to and submit your concerns, right? So
and run it through chains,
right?
And you have to hope that somewhere in the bottom two rungs of the ladder somebody gives a fuck.
Okay, so right, exactly, and that's where I think that some of these people are like, well, we deserve to know the truth about UFOs and any numerous amounts of things. Wow, this is gonna get weird. This episode. But like I don't know. I mean, I never felt that way. I knew that if there was ever a moment, like it wasn't blind loyalty, like I had an obligation, and so did you.
Mm-hmm. I remember signing all that shit.
Right, and we had a professional obligation that if I did feel like there's some kind of way, I felt something was amiss, if there was some kind of moral objection, then I had support and I had a system to like explore that, to have that conversation with somebody, but it is kind of our duty to make sure that shit isn't going on.
Yeah.
But also doesn't mean you get to go to New York Times about it.
No, that violates like every OPSEC order you've ever fucking seen.
Right. And I understand that, as Americans, we feel we need to, and we're entitled to the truth and X, Y, and Z.
Well, and we're curious too. It's part of the problem. But it's just a human thing. It's like, I want to know what you got, dirt. I want to know what the fuck you got. Where did you go? What did you do? I'm just curious. Tell me. I'm not going to tell anyone, but I probably will. Maybe not even knowingly,
Right.
That's just a human thing.
Oh, and I could speak at this quite a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And anyway.
By the way, this is not the direction I thought we were going to go today, but we're going to go that way. Apparently.
Oh man, I don't. Man, this is weird. I feel like I'm under a light here. Like, whoa.
It doesn't help that the ring light's like a fucking interrogation lamp.
Yeah,
we should get like just a one single fucking light bulb and hang it over our table.
That's kind of funny. I'd like to see that.
Fucking swinging back and forth.
Whoa.
Water dripping somewhere.
That makes me think of like the 1990 Dick Tracy movie. Did you ever see Warren Beatty?
Yep.
Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah.
Al Pacino's in there?
Yes.
Madonna?
Oh. Before she got like super weird. Madonna's always been weird, but now it's like
I saw something about her recently. I don't remember what it was, but
see I should talk about this.
Okay.
Did you see the comparison with Roseanne Barr?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah, Madonna looks weird compared to like Roseanne's like healthy.
Right. She got healthy and in shape
like,
and
handled her life, and Madonna, you're like, did a carnival roll into town? What's going on, man?
Okay.
Anyways.
So let's digress. Let's roll it back a little.
Let's not talk about nation secrets.
No,
maybe not today.
No, sir.
Let's save the conspiracy theory show for later on down the road.
All right.
Okay, let me ask one question.
Okay.
First. What is your favorite conspiracy theory? Because if we're going to talk about it, I'm going to have to research it first.
Okay.
Because there's so many.
There's so many, and I
feel
like
there's shit I haven't even heard of. The people are like, "Oh, my favorite, my conspiracy theory is the fucking cloud seeding," and I'm like, "What?"
Okay.
I don't believe in that, by the way.
Are you sure?
I mean, I know cloud seeding is a thing, but
right.
I don't think fucking 747 flying around with passengers is fucking dropping chemtrails.
Right.
Like, look at.
Bro, they can't even get your fucking luggage to you on time. Like, you think they're capable of?
Look at fucking video or photography from World War II. Like the first like massive flight, the 8th Air Force and the B-17s, contrails like a motherfucker.
Right. And
you're gonna tell me that at some point somebody's like, let's put chemicals in those. That makes sense. Let's do that. Nah.
Yeah, that seems a little unhinged.
It's fucking out there.
No, it is, for sure. There's definitely some wild, like, things out there that don't really captivate my attention because I do feel they're just too wild.
Too much. Too
and
out
there's
there.
No basis of logic or compelling evidence or an argument. And so when you ask me my favorite conspiracies...
Like, which one do you think about the most?
Okay, so I have currently 2.
Okay.
And one's kind of, like, also interconnected to a lot of other shit. So the first one is... life is a simulation.
We're in the Matrix.
Kind of. Super interesting stuff. There is, I think, some compelling evidence to this. And it's not so much that that there is empirical proof that says there is, but there's no empirical proof that says there isn't. And so that, you get into like scientific methodology and the dichotomy of that stuff and causation and correlation and whatever. Okay, Neil deGrasse Tyson, he was asked, like, give us the odds of what you think us living in a simulation is. Give us a percentage. And what do you think he said?
I'll probably something like wild, way over 50%.
No, he said exactly 50%.
Either it is or it isn't.
Right. Law of indifference.
I hate that answer.
Law of indifference. Oh. Right. Man, that guy's so brilliant. Dude. But like, how do you, anyway, so anyway, so I think that's an interesting one. And then the other one that I've always just found interest in was the faked lunar landing, as well as The Shining being Stanley Kubrick's like magnum opus about how he orchestrated the lunar landing for the government, and it's all fake. I think that shit's pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
And
I haven't heard the Stanley Kubrick version.
Okay, so you've heard of the lunar landing being fake?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, with that, and this one I'm kind of on board with, all of the atomic tests done in New Mexico with Project Manhattan That shit looks big as fuck.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. You watch that, like, the footage of, like, the house is blown over and the roof's... It looks like a fucking balsa wood model in some dude's basement. This shit did not look real. Also, like, I haven't been to, like, the White Sands area in New Mexico and Nevada, like, where they were doing those tests, but I don't know. I just feel like there would be a lot more...
Like Hills Have Eyes?
Hills Have Eyes shit going on.
Like, there's people, like, with...
Like, where's the fucking six-toed fucking wolves, like, coming out? I feel like... I don't know. I know when Chernobyl went down, like, they had some wild fucking wildlife coming out of it.
Alright, I feel like you've been watching too much Fallout.
Probably.
Okay. Have you watched Fallout?
I have not.
Excellent TV show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I feel like there'd be more. You know, like, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anybody, but there'd be fucking signs. I feel like it's that kind of a thing. Like, I feel like if that was real and not staged, we'd know a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay.
I could be completely fucking wrong. But...
Okay, so you're saying that about...
I think the atomic test footage from New Mexico preceding actually dropping the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the test footage is not real.
Okay.
I think they dropped that bomb not having a fucking clue what was going to happen.
Okay. Okay, so I agree.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm going to say. We don't have to go down these, like, wild... like rabbit holes. We want to keep the...
We're gonna save this for later.
Yeah, the 60 views that we have, we want to keep those. By the way, thank you everybody for all the support.
And the shares.
Just to give everybody an update, we haven't heard back from Liquid Death yet. Maybe soon. We'll see. We do have their new flavor today.
Cherry Obituary.
Yeah, this is awesome. Little taste test.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Tell them about that life.
That's good.
That's very good.
Not too sweet.
Get your fucking bubbly out of here. What's fucking wrong with you? This is not how we get sponsored, bro.
You're man. See, if we had a pus or a supply guy, he would have came in and told me to...
fucking Muppet.
Yeah, where's the Muppet, man?
I like yelling. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. I like yelling things randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works for me.
Yeah.
Anyways, atomic footage, fake.
Okay. All right. So same thing though. Like, I think about this. Like, if you start to unravel that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you pull the thread, why would there be faked like footage of some weapon that's related to and this is very much the time of like mutually assured destruction, the doom clock. I think this is when that was like created, or it was like
I think it's for some plausible deniability. No, we did know what was going to happen, even though we fucking didn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think too that and I'm not saying this as somebody who was in the military or has any I'm not saying this as an educated person here, right?
We're not professionals.
No,
don't take our word on this.
Yeah, exactly. But you look at that time frame in America, right? And I'm talking about
fucking Red Scare.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Really from the end of World War II up until we put people on the moon, right? And so that's where a lot of the basis and
we're not out of it yet. I think it's still pretty wild out there.
Right. No, for sure. Right. I'm not, yeah, the doomsday clock right now, I recently checked in with
lab leaks. No. I can't keep on track today, I'm sorry.
Whoa. Well, I can't listen, there's a whole lot to unpack with like
we're all over the
listen. Focus. Okay, so a lot of the logic and basis for the hypothetical for the faked lunar landing stuff is, and this is true with like trying to figure out why people commit crimes, is what is the motivation to do this?
Right.
What would be the motivation for America to fake the lunar landing? Which we had a pretty good reason to want to do that, and that, we were in an arms race.
We were in a fucking arms race.
We were in an arms race, right?
And like I said, the Red Scare, fucking whole McCarthy, fucking running people, like shutting down American citizens because they had the wrong associations.
And that lunar landing, really sealed a lot of things for us as a country and a world power, I think, and really set the I mean, you could almost see the geopolitical stage for where we're at now to a
Mhm.
certain degree, you know. And so anyway, so I think the lunar landing is a very interesting conspiracy, and we're living in a simulation.
Do you have an opinion on the lunar landing? Is it fake? Is it real?
Okay. I'm going to throw this disclaimer out there again.
We're not professionals,
Right, and I'm not speaking from professional experience, but
and we represent nobody.
right, but my opinion is Neil deGrasse Tyson is a brilliant
Mhm.
he's just a brilliant scientist. You know, I watch a lot of his content and I'm just like continually blown away. And he takes such complex like thoughts and theories and breaks them down into like shit that I can understand, you know,
Mhm.
which is pretty impressive to me. But one thing he said, and he was asked about the lunar landing, and he said, I understand the arguments for why people think this. However, if this did happen, the amount of people that would have had to have known about it
And stay quiet.
and stayed quiet and not had some kind of moral objection and sent it up whatever mechanisms,
Mhm.
right? Then like the law, I don't, not necessarily a law, but like say Occam's like rule and
Yeah.
in that, you know, simplest explanation, then somebody would have came forward.
Right.
There would be some kind of knowledge of this, and that doesn't exist, right? So I do not think that we faked the lunar landing. However, I will tell you that I know people that are intelligent people and functional people that do fucking believe
Fully
that.
convinced. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. This has kind of been a fun conversation for us.
Yeah, we're not gonna like deep dive down stuff. We need to go. We need to pick like one, and have Tatanka stay focused and not squirrel all over the place. But we should do shows on different conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Because I know a bunch of them, but dude, that's so bad. Like I used to really enjoy reading and being knowledgeable on subjects, and now I feel like I know just a little bit about a bunch of shit. And so when you really start trying to talk about it, I feel like I go dumb almost immediately. I'm like, I know about it, but I can't speak intelligently on it. It's kind of a problem for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what my favorite one is?
Which one?
Hitler did not die in
Whoa.
a bunker in Berlin.
Okay. I've heard some of this.
I'm very convinced that he was smuggled out of Germany through rat lines into Italy, over to Spain, put on a submarine, taken to Argentina, and died as an old man somewhere in South America.
Okay. Whoa. All right, hang on.
So that's my wild one. I fully am fucking convinced of.
All right, it's my turn. Okay, so first question I have. Bear with me. Like I said earlier, there's a little bit to kind of delve into here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my question is, who would be responsible for orchestrating that?
I think that they had a plan.
They
Through the Nazis, the Third Reich had this game plan. Not at the beginning of the war, but somewhere probably around late 1943, early 1944, when they started realizing, oh shit, we're getting our ass kicked here. That they started developing a plan to have a Fourth Reich.
Man. Okay, so all right, so it was like a contingency plan.
It was a contingency plan,
okay,
essentially. It's basically like we pull our president, we put him in a bunker in the middle of fucking Nebraska somewhere.
Okay.
Or president's died, vice president, or Speaker of the House, or Secretary of fucking Agriculture, whatever the order is, you know?
Yeah.
It's a contingency. Now, I haven't put it all together.
Oh,
obviously.
All right.
But I'm very convinced based off of things I've seen through, like Tim Kennedy was on a show, and like they went and they traveled South America, and they came across so much evidence of Nazi presence. Maybe not presence of Hitler. They can't prove that he was there or not there, but there was so much infrastructure, and they had medicine, and the same medicine that Hitler had ailments of. And like very opulent, fancy structures surrounded by guard posts and compounds and like.
He was a bougie bitch.
Did we say that? Bougie motherfucker.
That guy was bougie,
so
man.
bougie. Dude, the silver and shit.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I think that's something a lot of movies get right.
Yeah.
You know? And
like, he wanted all the art in Europe. Not just the nice... He wanted all the art.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sold on that one.
Okay.
We could spend a whole hour.
All right, so question then.
We could spend like 3 hours on that.
So submarine.
Yeah.
So a Nazi U-boat just chilling, secret, hidden.
They had. Remember, Spain was not really neutral, but neutral. They supported Germany. They had submarine bases in Spain, and on several. And don't yell at me for not forgetting or for forgetting my geography, but there's several islands along the edge of the African continent they could stop and refuel at and resupply at before making full haul.
Okay. All right. And then to Spain.
Italy, Spain, islands across the African coast to jump across to Argentina.
Okay. Why Argentina?
They were allies to Germany.
But after, you know, okay, so not Germany though, right? Ultimately the Nazis.
The Nazis, not
right. And so but here's my question is
the National Socialist Party.
But what is Spain, Argentina, and these, you know, civilized places, like what would they get out of harboring this, like, you know, I don't know. Could you imagine what that guy's head would have been worth if he was believed to be dead and it's Hitler? Like,
yeah.
I don't.
Well, that's the thing is that, so like when Russia, when they split Berlin, Russia got the half of Berlin that the bunker was in, and they excavated it, and they found a body, and they took it back, and I'll have to, like I said, I have to do more research so I can answer intelligently, but I know that decades later, they DNA tested that motherfucker, and most importantly, it came back to a female. So the body they found...
Because Hitler was a bitch.
Well, no. The theory is that it was Eva Braun.
Oh, shit, I shouldn't say that. Well, I have to delete that.
I'm going to leave it in there. I've said the hard R twice and nobody's yelled. I gotta really not.
Next.
Anyways, the speculation is it was Eva Braun and not Hitler.
Okay, Eva Braun. Right. Ringing bells here.
But his wife.
Right.
There's only one body found.
Okay.
And the DNA profile is female. Genetically female. Make that clear for the 2024 crowd.
No, sir.
Poke.
Okay. Man, all right. So we're gonna have a conspiracy.
Yeah, several, I think.
Okay, all right. And we'll get intelligent on these things.
Yeah.
And then we'll
because like I know just enough to like talk myself into a hole.
Okay. Nope. Anyway. We're redacted. Oh Jesus. All right. Well, so I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Should we get on fucking topic here?
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you for my service.
Thank you for your cervix.
You're welcome for my service. And service. I'm gonna say that really quietly, so hopefully you can't hear it.
No dice, bro.
Scat!
No dice.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
Thank you for your service is a thing that we talked about a little bit on number 2. And we were asked to go a little bit more in depth on, like, veterans get a little fucking weird about being thanked for their service. And there's a lot of different reasons for that and different opinions about why that is. And, I don't know, what the fuck do you think about it?
Okay. So again, back to the disclaimers and things, you know, these are my thoughts, you know, and I think something that's important, as I'm speaking, I might say like, oh, well, it's because of this, that, and the other. I think it's important for me to identify, that veterans come from all different walks of life. They've all been through different experiences, and so everybody feels differently, I think. And my perspective is my own, and so I think I feel. I don't know how to say this. So, do I feel uncomfortable? I mean, not anymore is what I'll say about when somebody says thank you for your service to me. Um, it took me a little while to get there, but I also realized that it was a me problem. I mean, this sounds cliche, but really, it was a me problem and not a they problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of the stuff I had mentioned in the previous episode was the example I used where I heard a veteran say, after he's told "thank you for my service," or "thank you for your service," he was like,
"If you do the shit I did, you wouldn't be thanking me."
Yeah, blah blah blah, right? And so again, I had mentioned in that episode, I think that stuff stems and when people say that and give off that vibe and that connotation or whatever, in this context, I think it's a coping mechanism, and I think that, veterans and first responders and whatever, umbrella term here, but we go through things that are traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
We go through things that don't make sense. We do things that don't make sense always, and so then, like, after we're out, and sometimes towards the end of our service time, like, our mind is trying to make sense of these things, and sometimes it just doesn't. And so I think some veterans, like, it just makes them uncomfortable because it leaves to that veteran, like, a lot of things open in their minds, like, oh, I didn't accomplish this, or well, maybe the negative thoughts they have about their service,
or it speaks to the moral injury of, I saw genocide,
mm-hmm.
or, I mean, I can't even fathom what the things I'm trying to say. I think that can phase it,
like enough. Atrocities, atrocities, or I understand what you're saying.
It pulls out some things out.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see that.
Okay. Yeah. So, so to me, like, so that's part of it,
mm-hmm.
is why it makes, I think, veterans feel uncomfortable. Is it brings up things that maybe happened or didn't happen to that veteran. It brings up their own feelings that are tied to their service, whether they feel good or bad about it. And I also think that there is there's a stereotype of the veteran bro, the vet bros,
yeah.
Right? And I think there's also, like, as a military service and military force, like, we are self-correcting in some ways. And by that, I mean, if we're too out of balance in one thing, or if we as a service are doing so much of a not good thing, then something will eventually come around and hopefully correct that and bring us back to our center line. And I think part of that is making sure that we all stay humble around each other, and so I think that other veterans can kind of give each other a hard time if they go get the free pancakes on Veterans Day, or
I don't have a problem with free pancakes. I really don't.
Yeah, right.
To some degree. I don't have a problem with military discounts. I don't have a problem with your Veteran Day pancakes. But
okay, right. And so I think that, I guess what I'm saying is that, that there are a lot of veterans that I have seen that do make fun of, or they give shit to other veterans that do ask for military discount, that do go get the free pancakes, and I don't agree with it, man. I don't. And I'm not saying that, like, they should do it. I'm not telling them how to be or whatever. But, like, my thing is, like, the Vietnam vets didn't get any of that shit
at all.
None.
And I think the Vietnam vets are where the whole thank you for your service has spun up from, is because people recognize that our fathers, our dads were treated like dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right,
straight disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think as a country, while maybe we don't agree with or support why we're in a war, which we're not for now, but we were for 20 years. And you can disagree with that, but I still appreciate what you're doing. Now, from my perspective, like, we're not being drafted. We're not using the draft pool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not using selective service. We haven't for quite some time. And so to me, like, anybody can go and sign a contract and be in the military. Mostly. There's some people are not eligible, but for the most part, anybody can go and sign a contract. And it's something that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need you to thank me for something that I wanted to do. Now, the Vietnam guys, the dudes that were drafted, didn't have a fucking choice, or go to jail, or run to Canada. That's different. Like, you went and you got shot at, and you had a pretty high probability of dying, and you didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. And because of the way they were treated coming home, that's why I say a lot to those guys. I tell them, welcome home.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different to me because it's like acknowledging that, like, hey, you were treated like shit, but I need you to know that I really appreciate what you did for no fucking point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this was a pointless war that your government sent you to, and you didn't have a choice. So, welcome home.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I wasn't drafted. I wanted to sign up. I wanted to enlist. You don't have to tell me thank you. I don't need that. I don't require that. Especially because I'm not a combat vet. You're a combat vet. That's a different, like, it's qualified. I don't need to thank you for my service. I'm going to tell you thank you for your service because you got fucking shot at. You played the big game.
Yeah, and okay, so right, and so I hear and I get that, and I understand that, and I want to say that I feel that way to some degree,
Mm-hmm.
and that I don't need to be told thank you. I didn't take the oath of enlistment, and I didn't do all the shit that I did in 13, all the duty I stood, all the watches, so much. Listen, if anybody wants to know one thing about the Navy, there is a lot of duty and a lot of watches. But anyway, man, it's like haven't heard those words in a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think about those things, and I also think that I didn't do what I did. I didn't give my time and my energy and my years of my life to be told thank you, to be necessarily treated differently or put on a pedestal. So I understand that perspective. However, I think that's, when you put it like that, I think that's minimizing is a good term for it, and that's something I learned in some years of therapy I attended. But minimizing is just a way of like, oh well, it's not really that big of a deal, it's whatever, and because I'm guilty of a lot of this. And so you're just taking this like really cool thing that maybe you feel self-conscious about, you don't understand, it's whatever, and you're just kind of minimizing it, and then you're minimizing maybe the negative impact it's having on you or whatever. But I think one perspective I have is, and I did serve 13 years, and I was chief. And so I feel like maybe I got to experience and get more hands-on with the bigger picture, and when I say the bigger picture, I mean, I'm talking about how really the whole apparatus of the military works, and, the cooks on the boat would be excited to ask me what's up with operations. But I'm just as excited to ask him what's up with dinner, you know?
Yeah.
And like, sure, he's making fucking dinner and, you know, like, oh, well, I scored better on the ASVAB or, you know, maybe he scored better on the ASVAB, but wanted to be a cook. And sure, there was some of that to some degree, but ultimately we are both on this, you know, boat together. And if something happens, we're going to war together.
Yep.
And, you know, whether he's a cook or I'm an intel guy, it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I don't really see it that way. You know,
everybody
I
fires
feel like
the weapon in training.
everybody fires and ultimately what matters to me is, and everybody feels differently about this, I think, as veterans, but if you raised your hand and you took the oath of enlistment and you went to boot camp and you served and you put the uniform on, like you experienced life, a different kind of life that many people will never get to experience, ever understand. I mean, I don't think a lot of us veterans even fully understand it, you know, and the impact that it has on us as humans, you know, but I do, you talk about the difference between, and there's like a period, I guess, next paragraph. There's a piece to this conscripted service you talk about. And, you know, I agree with you, right? Like we're volunteers. Like the military isn't all volunteer force.
Yeah.
Because of this great country that we live in, and so many Americans are willing to step up and do the things that is required of a service member.
It's quite literally how our country was founded.
Right.
Volunteers.
Mm-hmm. And so, along with that, if we did not have the size that we needed for the military, then there would be some sort of conscription, right?
Absolutely.
But here's the thing, and this is what some people argue, is that in some ways, like as an American, you know, if you don't have a lot of other options, what choice do you have but to join the military? You don't have a way to pay for college? Well, there's this thing, you know, it's called join the military, get your tuition, you know, like, and so I don't, like, I understand, like, no, I was not drafted. You were not drafted, right?
Right.
But also at the same time, I feel like with the way things are kind of set up in society, like, it's kind of, you know, the right push in that direction sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
So,
I don't know. I hate that, like, I want to acknowledge any veteran.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I guess I hate the way that thank you for your service has become like a cliche.
So talk a little bit more about that. Like what is the cliche, do you think?
I think it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to put my finger on it. It feels, you know how it's like pop culture.
Okay.
Like with these pop phrases like no cap or
bussin'.
Like it gets just fucking repeated so much that it loses its value. I think is the direction I'm trying to push on that.
Yes. Okay.
And to the point that, like, you hear it so often, and then, like, the vet bros start making fun of people, like, hey, thank you for your service. That now it's lost its value a little bit. Maybe just in my head. I don't know if I'm fucking speaking out of third field or left field or.
No, I think that's valid. I agree with that. And I think that there are probably plenty of veterans that also agree with that it's just like, it's like the easy thing
it falls
for
flat.
somebody. Right. Falls flat. It's just like the easy thing to say, like,
thank you for your service. Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I would much rather, and I know this is, I mean, when you're standing at a gas station and you see somebody wearing a U.S. Navy hat, it's not really the time or the place to engage somebody fully. Like, hey man, tell me what you did. I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy it? How was it for you?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really do that when you're just like, thanks for your service. I wish it weren't it didn't feel so awkward to engage people just out of the blue like that. But I think, and especially, I don't want to say the C word, post 2020, people are real awkward about being engaged in a public space.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have thoughts.
Send it.
Okay. Okay, so first...
Liquid death.
Liquid death!
Hydrate yourself.
Yeah, this is good. I like this flavor.
This is
yeah.
good.
Okay, so I think the first thing I would like to speak to is falling flat. I agree with you in that it is just this like blanket. Let me just throw this out there. I think it's the thing I'm supposed to say to veterans. Yeah. I mean, if I say this to them, maybe they'll think I'm cool and we'll get along. I don't know.
I see you, but I don't have time for you.
Yeah. Right. So I think that there is a degree to that, and I think it sounds like what's more important to you is maybe instead of just hearing a thank you for your service, like maybe hear like, hey, like I want to hear some of this,
Mm-hmm.
or how did that make you a better person, or what did you learn from that, or what did you get out of serving your country?
What would you recommend for somebody thinking of going into it?
Would you do it over again?
Would you do it over again? How would you do it differently? That's a different show, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm gonna spin off on this because we talked about it a little bit beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm being engaged by somebody that wants to hear the dudes, I'm gonna say dudes because it's mostly I don't think I've ever met a female to say this. I was gonna join, but if anybody got in my face and started yelling at me, I'd pop them in the nose.
Yeah.
Oh, shut the fuck up. No, dude. Ears off, disrespect. Like I don't care about what you have to say. Immediately off. You just told me by saying that bullshit. Like you just told me that you're not an adult. You can't imagine your emotions. You don't work well in a team. You're all about yourself. Not a fucking time.
Right.
So, I think the message behind bringing that up is that when you do engage them, be open and listen to their story. Like, if I didn't know you and I ran into you and I saw that you were a Navy veteran and I started talking to you, I'm asking you questions because I care about what you did, not fucking try and make myself look not good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So I guess one thing I think is relevant to bring up is, and I'm sure this happens to you, maybe it didn't, but I like while I was in uniform and even, some of the veteran stuff I wear now, sometimes people pay for my lunch,
Mm-hmm.
or supper or whatever, and now does that make me feel uncomfortable? Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I feel like so fucking grateful when that happens, and I want to make sure that whoever did that, if they won't let it be known that did it, or if I do see who did it or whatever, like I want to make sure I engage them and say thank you because that means a lot. Because I don't expect that, you don't expect that,
It's always a surprise.
But I also like I think about it like this, right? And not that these two perspectives are too different, but I think of it as there are a lot of non-military people, non-first responder people that never served that don't like feel comfortable even approaching us, even saying anything to us, even like nodding at us. I mean, and I'm not saying that to like disrespect, or diss on them. I'm saying that is, I mean, look at us, dude. Like we're covered in tattoos. You know what I'm saying? Like,
look, got a little Grizzly Adams going on.
I know. Here. I mean, I'm not too far behind you, and I ride a super loud motorcycle and I drive a truck and so
I cuss a little bit
once or twice today.
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I yell.
Correct.
I yell a lot. I yell at a lot of people. Like it's just it's a natural voice.
You lazy piece of shit.
Exactly. Dances over rules. Anyways.
Anyway. So I try to use grace when somebody tells me thank you for your service, especially, and I feel like I invite that when I wear the veteran stuff that I wear. And so I think that, as a veteran that is wearing stuff that says I'm a veteran, that like it would be unreasonable for me to just act really weird if they say that to me. And I also, and this is another thing, is like, am I a vet, bro? Maybe. Honestly, I don't give a shit.
Sometimes
You know
I
what?
fully am.
And you know what? I don't give a shit. I am what I am, And if that helps me cope with like my service and helps me connect with other veterans, so be it. And the other thing too I'm going to say is, if it makes me more approachable because I'm okay hearing thank you for my service from a civilian, fine.
And if somebody that is if a veteran that is ashamed and isn't easily identifiable, even though at this point I can fucking pick him out of a crowd. But if me wearing a Save One Hero hat with the fucking green star makes them feel like, oh, I can go talk to that dude and tell him, hey, I'm struggling a little bit, like, about it, please. Right. So yeah, I get that.
Right. And there, while I was in, I was stationed with people that would, I guess, quantify why somebody has PTSD, or if what they did in the service.
You can't do that.
No, you can't. And it's such a logical fallacy, in that you are putting, people in a box, and, like, so I'll tell you that one of the only, and you might know this, one of the only, like, scientifically proven, scientists don't say proof, right? And prove, right. But one of the things that's shown to have a lot of causation and correlation between psychotherapy and getting better with mental health maladies is speaking about, is the person talking about
communication.
Is communication, is being able to take these complex feelings and thoughts and put words to them.
Right.
And so really, if veterans get to talk and have an open place to talk about that shit, and if they want to talk about that stuff, it's 9 times out of 10, it's going to help that veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you this. I was told in one of my workplaces after I was out of the military that I talk about the military too much, right? Talk about, well, when I was in the Navy, this, that, and the other. And I understand that perspective, but like, it's not that I'm bragging about it or I'm like self-righteous that I went and was in the Navy.
It's your life experience.
But literally, it's all I fucking know, man. It's literally all I fucking know.
And in your most formative, how old were you when you enlisted?
I delayed entry program when I was 17 years old.
Same. Right. So in your most formative years before you were an adult, you signed a contract and made a decision, went into training and had 13 weeks of training where they basically reformat the hard drive in your fucking brain.
Right.
And then that's like, your brain is like hard setting, like that's when it's getting the most developed. And this is when you're going through this, but then when you're out, you're just supposed to fucking control it, delete this shit, and forget about it because you talk about it too much. Fuck you. That's not how that's going to work. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I understand, like, I'm glad somebody, had said that person had said that about me. I tried not to take it, I took offense to it. Not like a lot, but like, I understand, I guess. But
I'm sure somebody would tell you that it wasn't personal, because I feel like it is. Maybe I'm a little too sensitive about that.
I mean, I'm not going to unpack any of that. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, like, and not only that, but, my dad, like, I was born in a naval hospital,
right?
And my dad served in the Navy until I was 17. And then, I was in the Navy. So literally, this is all I know, man,
Same. My dad was Air Force.
Right.
I had grandparents that were in the military.
So
different branches.
Right. And I don't know. So I understand maybe some people, feel like, we're trying to brag or tout, and that's not it. It's just, it's what I know, and I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to, like,
it's like asking a hard rock musician to not talk about playing fucking guitar.
Right. it just doesn't.
It doesn't compute for that person.
And it's, I mean, like we talk about identities and the vet bro identity and veteran service, and that's like, for some people that's the only identity they have, and I don't know, it's just like I understand that aspect of it, but I think what's more important is that people also understand they're still human, they're still a person,
Yeah.
and it's okay to say like, oh, thanks for saying that, like maybe it's okay to take a gift every once in a while,
Right.
and maybe accept a compliment. So I guess that's, yeah. Anyway, that's where I'm at on all this.
That's a fair place to be.
Yeah. You got anything you want to add? Did we cover it all?
How do you respond to it? What's your response?
So usually, okay, so it depends on the situation, and depends on what I'm doing, and like my students will say it to me, and I say thank you to them, and I also use it as an avenue on, if anybody's thinking about joining the service, if you have questions, like ask me, and if you want to hear a story, or if you have particular questions, I'm willing to talk about it, So I tell them not necessarily like for them to say thank you, or treat me differently, but mostly like, hey, I
Give
went
them
and did
knowledge.
this.
Yeah.
Right.
This is an option for you.
Right.
I like that. For a long time, I just simply it was like an awkward thank you off. Like, thank you for your service. Oh, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah.
You hang up first. No, bro, you hang up first.
Yeah.
And then I got into kind of the Chick-fil-A approach with, oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the support.
Thank you for the support is, I think, my go-to now.
I like that too.
You were talking about people buying your breakfast for you, your lunch for you. You know, what we started doing, at least when we ride motorcycles and hang out in groups, is when this happens the most often is normally there's like 4 of us all in our veteran apparel. And all of a sudden we go to get the bill and they're like, oh, somebody handled it for you. What we, I think, do more often is, okay, cool, well, we still pay it, but now it's a tip.
Yeah.
And so now the server gets like 100% tip.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's awesome. Right.
Just a thing. I don't know who started it, but I like it.
Right.
We do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess the one thing we didn't check in with each other about is military discounts or veteran discounts.
So I'm about it.
Okay.
Let me tell you why I'm about it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as free pancakes, I obviously enjoy pancakes. So I'm going to eat some fucking pancakes. That's my opinion on the pancakes. As far as like getting your 10% off, the reason I'm about that is like, listen, so you sign this contract with the government, and the government pays you shit money. And at best, these places that give military discounts, 10%, 15%, all it's doing is covering the fucking sales tax. That's it. Bro, I have ancestors proven they fought in the Revolutionary War. I will throw your fucking tea in the harbor, man. Fuck your taxes. Don't fucking tax me, you motherfucker. I will take that military discount because I signed a contract to fight for my country, even though I didn't fight for my country. But guess what? Fuck your taxes.
No, man. Like I said, it's all about cogs in the machine.
It's not taken away from that fucking company. They're fucking covered. You're still paying for the fucking product. You're just not paying the fucking tax.
And I'm going to say this, and I'm saying this with a 90% certainty. But if you have, as a business, and I'm just going to say, if you as a business have a military discount, 10%, 5%, I mean, whatever, right?
Whatever. I don't care.
Whatever it is. Every time you give that discount, if it is kept track of, it can be claimed. Right? Yes, it's a write-off. It can be claimed.
So I have no issues with it.
Right. So I'm sure there's like, it's not just as simple as like writing it off for a business. Like I'm sure it's a process and
there's some fucking tax loophole that their accountant is well aware of. And
yeah. Like full disclosure, not an accountant, not
a CPA.
Yeah, negative on that. That's
hard no.
So I agree with you because like for me,
Throw that fucking tea in the harbor so fast.
Oh yeah, right.
drink coffee, motherfucker.
Right.
God.
Come on, you guys know what we're about. Like, you know?
Dress up as some Mohawk Indians and fucking throw tea in the harbor.
Oh my god, dude. That's crazy. And both our ancestors were part of that shit, which is crazy.
Yep.
That is crazy.
Reuben Tolman.
Yeah, I think it was Nathaniel Maupin, I want to say, during the Revolutionary.
Such a fucking unique, like, distinct name.
Right.
Yeah. I like it.
It is.
It's quality.
Quality.
Quality in your harbor?
Oh man. Okay, so since we disclosed, my my last name here, might as well just let's give out the PII. And so my birthday, 4th of July, right?
Yep.
And so man, I just got derailed in my brain.
Fucking train wrecked.
Yep.
No survivors, call for surge.
Negative.
Who the fuck is that? Ghost. A motherfucking ghost just walked in our studio.
All right, let's get this thing popping, man.
Apparently, we're gonna have our first guest today.
All right, first guest.
Hi everyone, my name is James, otherwise known as Ghost.
He's the Benji.
I am the Benjamin that they talk about.
The Ghost Benji.
The Ghost Benji.
Bought him on $100 bill.
Oh shit! Welcome, man.
Thanks for having me on, you guys.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, we just did a little wrap up of we talked about.
We've done like an hour on. Thank you for your service.
Holy, it's been an hour. Whoa.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's do it another hour.
I mean, we could.
So, you're a Marine. Sorry. You are a Marine.
I am a Marine.
My bad.
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
What year did you enlist?
2008. I was in 2008 to 2012.
Hollywood or
Hollywood.
Carolina?
I was California. Camp Pendleton.
It was like quick in and out.
Yeah.
Quick in and out adventure.
I did my 4.
Woo!
Okay.
So, but yeah, I was 4 years active duty infantry. So I was in 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. I served as an 0351 assaultman. So served in our combined anti-armor team, weapons company. So I served with the big vehicles and the big heavy guns. So
sounds like some man shit.
Yeah, it was.
Well, when he became my friend, there was like this little check in the box. Check in the box was like, can handle big guns.
Can handle big guns.
Likes big iron.
Likes the big metal and the big explosions.
The big explosions.
So I have to ask this.
Send it.
If I don't ask you this, he's gonna ask you this. If he doesn't ask you this, somebody in our audience is gonna ask us this.
All right.
Do you eat fucking crayons?
I do eat crayons.
What's your favorite color?
Red.
Red.
Well, wait, okay. So I recently found out that the different colors make you different ways.
I always say the red ones make me horny.
Whoa, man! Which one did you eat just now? Mm-hmm.
I had a green one before I got here.
Ooh,
What's green?
Mellows me out.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. All right. So
I like that we're all wearing Dixons. Can we get a Dixon sponsorship?
There you guys go.
Oh my god.
I have like 40. No, I think I'm over 50 now.
I always need to invest in stock right before you buy your next batch of Dixons. Watch that stock.
I think that's called insider trading, dude.
Oh my god. All right. So list of people we don't want to watch this. EPA, let's start there.
Oh,
Pretty
God.
much any of the alphabet boys.
Yeah, any of the alphabet boys. You are an alphabet boy.
I am an
Oh.
So are you.
Not anymore.
Negative. Negative, sir.
So there I was, sitting with my fad and my drug dealer.
Negative. Okay, so
Liquid Death.
yeah,
I
it's a
love
new
Liquid
one.
Death.
We're going for
Cherry?
things
I
here.
have not had the cherry yet.
Neither would we.
I've had the mango. The mango's good. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm a little fan of the mango. I like
it's
the lime.
all right. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit more sweet.
I'm not down for the melon at all.
No,
Can't.
it's like
Like the tease.
You told me this. It's like a cantaloupe.
It's like cantaloupe. It's not like...
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I like that.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to some things here.
We're all over the fucking place today.
That's fine.
All right.
That's what the show's about.
Is
Okay.
it?
Listen, I feel
From
like...
the 2 podcasts I've listened to, it's what the show's about.
Okay.
It's about everything, but probably nothing.
I think this is about to devolve into, like, Lord of the Flies type shit. Okay? So... I think we need to go with the handheld mic here.
What are we doing?
All right, so let's go back here. Rewind. All right, so we talked about thank you for your service, right? So we've been getting some good engagement from people, and somebody had engaged us on socials and had just said that they I think it was their son can feel a little uncomfortable when it is said to them, and so with you identifying that you were a Marine simplified motherfucker, by the way, I would just kind of like to check in with you, as much as you want to disclose or not disclose or whatever, but like, how does it make you feel uncomfortable when somebody says thank you for your service? And if it does or does not.
So for me, it does not. And so my first response when anybody actually does say thank you for your service is I turn around and say thank you for your support. Because that's a big thing in my mind, is that there are people that out there that don't not necessarily want to support the military, but like if they're choosing to thank me, they have it they've ingrained it into themselves that they actually want to thank the military.
Mm-hmm.
So I say thank you for your support as kind of a thank you back to them for recognizing someone's service in the military.
Okay. All right. Now, do you have any cognizance of awareness or awareness of there being other veterans?
I am aware of other veterans because so I do work for the Army National Guard right now as a civilian
that maybe don't feel the same way.
And I've worked with individuals that have been in the Guard the entire time, and they feel like they just put on the green suit, to kind of go to drill and do that, and they don't, haven't really served in their capacity, their words. And I have to say, like, no, you still actually signed on the dotted line as well too. So, there is still some service to be thanked for. So I know there are individuals I work with that, do feel uncomfortable when someone thanks them for their service.
Right. And to, kind of delve into some of this with you and give you a little bit of context. One thing that, him and I talked about, one thing that I felt like I was part of my journey to get to a better place with hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first, when I first left the service, I didn't want to hear that, and I didn't want to talk. I mean, I think I mentioned in one of the other episodes, like, I didn't have anything up. I didn't want to look at my uniform, like, and that was my experience. Everybody's different, you know?
Absolutely.
And I was bitter for a while. And so I didn't want to hear that, and really got to a place where I'm like, well, it's not just about me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like it's also about, like, this person is going out of their way. And maybe another point I made with him is like, I mean, like, fucking look at us. We're not the most approachable, like, subsection of society.
What are you talking about? I am a fucking Care Bear.
Anyway, so just kidding. Just kidding.
But no, you have a very valid point there with that. Yeah. So, it's each individual's person has their own reactions to the time they served, how they served, what they did when they served, how they feel after service, whether they got out on their own terms or whether they, I know from your last podcast, you mentioned, that how you were med boarded, so you wished, it was a little bit more on your terms. I caught that from the last podcast. So listener here, paying attention.
I know I heard you were our biggest fan or whatever.
That's why I'm invited on the show.
I didn't know.
Do we invite
Wait, wait a second. Who did you get?
You just walked in.
To come on as a guest speaker.
Wait, so you invited him?
I might have invited him.
He invited me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just making sure. What time did he tell you?
Like an hour ago.
All right. Okay.
I feel like it was more than an hour ago. I feel like it was like 3 hours ago.
Just kidding. We do this to all our guests.
Oh, I get it. All one of them.
But
anyway,
so James is on.
Who the fuck is James?
Ghost. I'm really bad at this. I don't know if you guys knew this. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
It's like my third time doing it.
My first.
Ghost is on the board of directors of Save One Hero with yourself
Mhm.
and myself.
Yeah.
So all three of us in one room.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we like each other.
I wouldn't. Let's maybe not put
Hanging around each other.
I'll hang out. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Coffee.
Yeah.
no, I'm glad you mentioned that and brought that up, and
We're getting a sponsor from Grinds too.
Grinds, Liquid Death, and Dixon. This is my whole life in like one thing here.
yeah. Oh, I have ideas, but
Uh-oh.
anyway, yeah. So and you've listened to the podcast, and we talked a little bit about Save One Hero, and today you got a chance to speak at another veteran-ran nonprofit organization, which Save One Hero was a beneficiary of. Awesome, super awesome.
Yeah, making big waves for ourselves.
Yeah, and I was kind of talking to him about this a little bit earlier, and I'm just so wild that the three of us sat down. You're like, this is my idea, this is my vision. I know you guys are passionate about this. Like, let's send it, and really the progression from like this brainchild you had, this good idea, and to all the paperwork and running around in our Dixons together, and to really receiving our first substantial
Donation.
donation. That's
I'm thinking about what you just said. I feel like I struggle with. I'm always the big idea guy. Like, oh, we should do this, and then we like start it, and then I'm like, okay, now what? What do we do now?
Mhm.
Anybody ideas? Anybody? I don't keep going. That's where I have kind of like I lean on you two to keep like the momentum going in whatever direction we pick. I feel like I'm constantly like, we should ride across the country, and you're like, maybe not.
A little bit of a realist.
Yeah. We should do this and this and this, and you're like, pick one.
Yep. But that's what makes us a good committee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. We do like have that brotherhood, kinship, friendship between the three of us, and that like we have our different strengths.
Mhm.
We have our different challenges.
Mhm.
And I feel like we've leveraged that pretty well, in this whole process. And I mean, really, this isn't even a year old yet.
Not yet.
And the steam and the energy that is kind of behind us right now is just
Definitely picked up this last week.
Yeah.
And to think that
The momentum's there.
Yeah.
Right.
Keep carrying forward and keep going on with this mission.
And at this point, like with where we're at and what we already have set up, like we could make a difference in somebody's life tomorrow.
Mhm.
If we had to, if we need to pivot in that direction, we could.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That is fucking huge. So
What we've been striving for.
yeah, it's a pretty big deal, I think. But anyway, do you want to speak to Save One Hero? Is there
Sure, yeah, I can speak about it.
anything you want to add in? I mean,
So it's a little bit of a recap from episode 2, but it's
Mhm.
good to have all three of our different stances on it. In our
Mhm.
opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, so as we mentioned, we are a nonprofit that we stood up. We're about 8 months old is all right now, but that doesn't mean much. We can definitely keep moving forward with it. We aspire to grow. We aspire to reach more. Our mission is to focus on PTSD awareness and suicide prevention and moral injury for both veterans as well as first responders, because we recognize the fact that as first responders, they see a lot of trauma as well too. And so we want to make sure that we address that there's a growing need for. I think I just read a statistic the other day that even firefighters are having a higher suicide rate than veterans. So, we want to make sure that we're focusing on anybody that needs mental health therapies, whether that be through music therapies, plant-based therapies, other types of active things. We've talked about like even acupuncture. I think I just mentioned music therapy. I mean, the therapies out there are tremendous, and so, that's one of our goals is, to build a database to figure out where these therapies are and who we can connect with and connect individuals with those therapies, and then ultimately pay for those services as well too. So because we have one of our members is a Leo, law enforcement officer, and the different types of therapies that are offered in a law enforcement environment. Sometimes many law enforcement officers, don't want to go through what they do just the minimal check in the boxes to get cleared to go back to duty. And if we can provide them a different type of service that they can keep, confidential and get therapy and get seen, and we pay for it to get them back out on patrol or on service, is definitely a mission that we want to make sure we're part of as well too.
And building the community.
And building the community. Yes.
Because if we have 5 guys who we've helped and they feel confident in their positions, we start just bringing them in.
Yep. Yeah. Success stories is how we're going to make this roll. Is that as soon as we help that first one, he writes us a success story. He or she writes us a success story. And the testament to shows that what they're doing works and can help be instrumental in making this organization grow.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, like you hear all these like pearls of wisdom and adages of, to make something work, like pick something that you're passionate about. And seeing, like we're all passionate about this, we're all passionate about supporting people that served, and really like seeing the passion, come from you, it's just really, it's really awesome, and I think it's something really special to be part of. And
absolutely.
Yeah, it's been great. And ultimately, I mean, we have these goals to accomplish and
we'll
to support these people, and yeah, I know we will too, and
I think that's been another thing that like I really appreciate the both of you for, is that there's sometimes where I feel like we're just spinning in the mud. We're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything. We're not accomplishing anything. We're not achieving anything. And I start to feel a little bit like, discouraged. It's probably the best word for it. And I feel like, well, maybe just we're not going to be successful. We're not going to achieve anything. Just put it on the shelf. And you guys both several times have both been like, no, dude, fuck you talking about? We're not doing that shit.
We're moving. We're
going to keep going. And I'm like,
right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah.
Right, because this is not easy.
No, it's
right.
Fucking,
like this has not been easy. Like it's not an easy thing to do, and I mean, I'm not gonna like give out a bunch of examples, but there has been some hurdles. There's been some challenges. There's been some legality that we've had to figure out. We've had to figure out how to, be in a place where we're supporting ourselves and in a place where we're supported enough to help others, and so figuring out those things are huge. And there has been a lot of people that have really helped us. And, I think it's, like I said before, it's really incredible to see where this is going, and I think another thing that's important to remember too is, and I tell you this and I tell you this, and that, we're pioneers in what we're doing. Like, no, we're not pioneers in nonprofit work for veterans and first responders, but with, like there's no fucking playbook, right? Right? Like there's no, like this isn't a Lego kit and you get a booklet and you know what the fuck to do, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Figuring it out as we go.
Right. And
the ideas just constantly like morphing and changing a little bit, like from the first concept that we talked about to where it is now.
Yeah. Oh, it's an evolution.
Yeah. Like,
and
we'll think we'll have one plan, and then we're like, well, what if we modify it this way and push it this way? And it's nice.
It's still growth in a forward direction.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I would like to say too is that when it comes to being a pioneer in any kind of industry setting or whatever, like like there's going to be missteps. There's going to be steps maybe not in the correct direction or whatever, but I've seen it is your resilience. I've seen your resilience. I've seen our adaptability and being able to respond to whatever the challenge is and pivot accordingly.
Pivot.
Yeah, super gummy.
Pivot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to talk about? What you got going on?
I'm pretty good. I was going to say.
All right.
Go ahead. I mean, if you got something you want to lead me into, go for it.
Oh, bait the hook.
Bait the hook.
All right.
I'll fall for it.
Okay.
Make me dance.
How do you feel about spiders?
I think we're doing spider bit again.
You're right. We're not supposed to do a spider bit, but he's here.
He's heard it. He heard it.
I know, but I need to know.
I'm okay with them.
You are?
I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Like what kind are you okay with?
Oh, like the normal ones. I mean, I won't fuck with a black widow or brown recluse kind of side of it.
Yeah, he won't fuck with a black widow, Chief. You wild man.
I'm gonna put that video at the end of this podcast so people can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you should just text it to me so I can put it on the Instagram.
yeah. Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay. See, this is why you're the idea guy. Okay, so you're okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you ever have a pet spider?
Personally, probably not.
Okay.
So
Fucking dope on caffeine now.
Here, give me some of this. All right. So you wouldn't have a pet spider.
Yeah.
Why not?
I was just thinking about the care of it. So
The care? What do you mean?
you gotta fucking feed the thing roaches and all that kind of. I'm thinking like a tarantula if I'm actually gonna have like a pet spider.
Mm-mm.
You're talking about like a little trapdoor spider.
I'm talking about Jameson. Jameson is my office spider. He's my pet. He's my office spider.
Oh, I can keep a pet spider in the house like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you have any of those in your house?
No, I actually pay to get my house sprayed.
Oh, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Did you ever pay to get your lawn mowed?
I do that myself as well too.
I roll up on his house one day last year, and like we had been riding
All summer.
all summer, like every weekend. Like it's like the 10,000-mile summer, and I roll up to his house, and I'm like, "Bro, is there an HOA here? Because how much is your fine?" His fucking grass, legit, dude. His grass had turned into weeds.
Yeah,
it's like 14, 15 inches tall.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was like a wild, dude. It looked like Pawnee grassland out there. I was like, what is happening?
Well, the weather wasn't cooperating. So, like, Monday through Thursday it would rain, and then Friday through Sunday it was nice, and we'd go ride. And then I'd get back Sunday night, and then on Monday it would rain again. And so for like 7 weeks, I just let my grass grow and turn into weeds.
Blood makes the grass grow.
Blood. Blood makes the grass grow.
Okay, so conversely,
Okay.
I was out in my front yard
Mm-hmm.
like 2 weeks ago, and there was zone enforcement riding around their little lights and stuff.
Their little electric
golf
car.
cart.
They were getting no, it was a truck,
Mm.
and he was getting out, and he was like legit measuring people's long ass grass. And I'm like,
And
dude,
yet there's snow today.
and there's snow today.
When am I supposed to get out there and do it?
Anyway,
It's not like
so
you work at 9 to 5 or anything, you know?
Yeah.
skirt. So
Skirt.
all right, so
Sidetrack.
So office spider. So Jameson. I have this office spider named Jameson, and I introduce everybody that comes and records in the Skull Studio to Jameson. And so
Basically me.
no, 2 people now. Well, 3 if you include the old wife, Jameson.
Jameson.
He's cool, right? He's a little guy,
Yeah.
and I
That
put,
type of pet you could keep.
yeah, I put a little piece of grass up there and shit. Although, I'm cool with spiders, and he doesn't bother me at all. But I was on the computer. I was like, I wonder where that spider's at. And I'm like looking around, I don't see him in any of the corners. I'm like, bro, where's Jameson? And he was like dangling, he wasn't that close, but he was fucking
Felt like
dangling. Oh yeah, right above my head, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting up. It's close.
Yeah.
So I let him do his business right above me that he had to do, and then
Moved on.
yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. I just, I need to check in with people about the spiders, and I like
Doesn't
introducing
bother
them.
me.
Good. Yeah. So I'm glad to know you and Jameson are cool.
We're good, Jameson.
Sweet.
Is it just because his name's Jameson?
That is a big plus.
I was going to say.
I knew it. That's why I
Yeah.
fucking named him Jameson, dude. I was like, because if Ghost ever show a guest on the show, he'll never try to kill it. You?
I will.
I thought you were gonna kick my house over when you left last time, bro.
Yeah, like, if I look up and I'm like, okay, there's a spider there. I'm good with that. But if I'm like, and there's a spider right fucking here, what the fuck? Like, I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I don't like being surprised.
Snakes?
Oh, totally fine with steaks.
Yeah, they're cool.
You said steaks.
Snakes.
Well,
Steaks.
both.
Steaks. I'm fine with steaks. I'm not fine with
Snake
snakes.
Oh my god, guys. Listen to this story. So, when I was stationed in Pensacola, there were these other guys I was stationed with there. They were instructors. and it was like 4 guys, and they rented this like 4-bedroom house across the border in Alabama, and it was like on some land, and it was fucking wild, I guess, out there. So I heard wild stories, like they kept all kinds of animals, and there was like tons of spiders, like tarantulas and shit like that. They had poisonous and venomous pets and stuff. Anyway, so I go over there one day to get something from one of these guys, and when I went over there, like, yeah, there was like some goats and shit, chickens, whatever, not abnormal to me. But anyway, I was talking to him. He's like, "Hey, do you want something to drink?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take a beer or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, it's in the fridge." And so I went and I grabbed a beer out of the fridge, and I see this like pot, like in the fridge, and I just kind of look in it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's our rattlesnake meat." And I'm like, "You're what?" He's like, "Yeah, we killed this rattlesnake, and then we stripped it, and we're marinating that meat. We're gonna barbecue it tonight if you want to stick around." And I'm like,
I would have had some of that.
No, I've had.
I did.
I've had a snake, like a wild, or I don't know, I think it might have been a rattlesnake, but I've had a snake brought.
Hmm?
But it wasn't anything that I killed and processed myself. A fucking meat processing place had done it and processed it.
Right.
It tasted good. I didn't
No,
hate it.
when I was down in the Philippines, we hired one of the locals to cook us a cobra, and I drank shots of cobra blood because I'm a Marine, and that's what we do.
Why does that make sense?
"Why are we?"
Why does that not? Like...
It always goes back to this. I swear to God.
Right.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
And, we had cobra stew, and after they drained the cobra of all the blood, there was like 3 shot glasses worth of blood, and they asked who wanted to drink them, and of course I drank one.
That
So
makes
I
so
drank
much
a
sense
shot
to
of
me.
cobra blood.
I mean,
I'm just like, okay.
I don't. Yeah. Oh,
okay.
for sure. Yeah. Anyway, that's the most Marine shit you said all day. Anyway, moving on. What did I tell you that one time? I'm like, you can only open your mouth for like 2 minutes before I know exactly.
Exactly.
Marine thing's gonna come out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. So this is where I was at on that. Is like, I don't know when they killed that snake, and it was just like not good looking meat that was raw, just like sitting in like red sauce, and I'm like
some fucking cherry sauce.
I was like, oh, that's too much for me. Now, have I eaten snake? Yes. Yeah. Not like any tribal, like, ritualistic, like Filipino warriors or whatever, but, damn, bro.
I survived.
That's fucking wild, man.
How did it taste?
It was alright.
Was it just like blood? Like just when you fucking bite your
Did it taste like fucking freedom and victory
iron,
or what? Iron? Snake iron?
Iron guns, big guns. Never going back to that.
And we've come full circle.
Within seconds and sentences this time. All right.
What's the difference between the Cub Scouts and the Marines?
I feel like you're going to tell me.
Marines have heavy artillery. Not wrong.
Yeah.
May not be funny, but it's not wrong.
All right. So, how about this? Let's tell some Marine stories.
Oh,
while James is here, do you have any Marine stories?
I have a question. No, I don't.
Okay,
but what's your favorite conspiracy theory that you subscribe to?
Mm-hmm.
If it swoops, it snoops.
Stop it, dude. Damn it. So much to unpack with that.
Nobody knows what we're talking about right now.
Oh, I'm sure someone does.
If it swoops, it snoops. Shout out to Lauren.
Shout out to Lauren. Lauren.
Little bullet.
Feels weird.
Amy's husband.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know,
Amy's
it's
wife.
a conspiracy that birds are surveillance drones.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but this is like a legitimate.
Do you believe it?
Oh.
Do you believe it?
There's times.
There's times. What time? You're like, oh, this is a fucking drone.
This bird seems very interested in my activities today.
Circling around me right now. Probably because I was some sort of watch list.
Is it when
I said I was coming down here, so I had a bird following me the whole way.
Is it when you're cleaning your 50 cal in your backyard that it's like, why is this bird hovering?
Perfectly still. Hovering.
And do you just take it in stride? Like, oh, it's just doing its fucking.
It's doing its bird thing.
That's Swoopy's.
Swooping and snooping.
Oh my god. All right.
So ridiculous.
Okay. That was ridiculous. I didn't see it go in that direction.
No, that's not the way I was
yeah.
going to pick you.
But yeah, I mean, but it's great, and thanks for that. Yeah. So for him, you tell him what you told me. I need to use the restroom. Excuse me. gentlemen.
I'm there too. Hitler did not die in the bunker in Berlin.
I've heard that one too.
Yep.
I haven't heard that. I've heard that he might have survived, but
I mean, he's definitely dead by now.
Oh yeah, no,
but
he's dead. No.
It's Argentina.
Yep, Argentina. Well, South America.
South America.
I think he went to Argentina. I think he moved north.
Yeah.
But
I have heard that.
His is the lunar landing, and then we live in a simulation.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was an arms race to bankrupt the Russians.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly it. It was right in the middle of right at the tail end of the Red Scare with McCarthy, and then just shutting dudes down.
If we could get them to bankrupt themselves, it makes them a weaker superpower.
Yep. And then I tied in. We talked about not only the lunar landing being faked, but I said that the Project Manhattan atomic test footage. It looks fake as shit to me.
Okay. True, because the houses still stand afterwards. The cameras are still fine.
Yeah, the cameras are fine, but everything else is destroyed. Yeah. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
No, and it looks like a cardboard model.
Yeah.
Like
it's a single firecracker with enough force on a micro scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the direction we went with that.
Now, if I actually had to really pick one, I'd probably pick CERN and the particle accelerator.
Yeah.
Because they just apparently opened it up again during the lunar eclipse
we
just had last week.
Yeah.
And yet we've heard no results from it since then. And that's why they try to say, we're getting into this now. But, you know, the whole Mandela effect and how things are changing.
Okay, so we're talking about things that I don't know about now. So,
okay.
Continue.
All right. So people believe that, so CERN is the particle accelerator that runs in Europe, where they smash two particles together, but there are people that believe that it opens up a gate. All right, so to fill you in real fast, if we're actually picking conspiracy theories, I'm picking CERN and the particle accelerator.
Okay.
Have you heard any of those?
Yeah. Sounds familiar-ish.
I was starting to go into it, and I'll continue, and you can step out.
Sure.
Yeah, so when the particles are smashed into each other, people do believe that it opens up some types of portals and some types of black hole type situations that kind of change things. This is where a lot of people believe in the Mandela effect comes from the opening of these portals. So things change. Things change every time CERN fires off a particle accelerator. So yeah. So that's what people are starting to believe is the reason why the world around us changes based on the timing of these events. So. And why I brought it up is because actually the most recent was they fired it off again during the lunar eclipse that we just had last week. So, and yet we haven't heard any results from it. Like they never post results.
Okay.
So, but that's one right there that I would say I subscribe to that one.
Okay.
The Mandela effect that comes from there.
Yeah.
And the differences of things.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. And I'm not like a huge conspiracy theorist or anything, but
it's one that makes sense to me.
Right. And I know you. I know you're
and Egyptians and aliens and going on that whole route.
Right. Right. And
there's many conspiracies out there.
Right. And I know you, and I know you're not a tinfoil hat dude or anything.
Big Brother is watching. All the time.
Well, they are, but it shouldn't matter.
You have a cell phone, they're watching.
Sure. Right. Okay. That's interesting. I'm going to have to, pull the thread on some of that.
Too wild?
That's why I came back. I'm like, Huh. Anyway, okay.
Musical. God. I need to lose weight.
All right, so he's filling me in on his
CERN theory.
Yeah, CERN theory. And you guys talked about Hitler.
I told him what yours was. In the atomic testing and the lunar landing.
Okay.
And living in a simulation.
Oh, you told him simulation.
Yep.
Okay. And so you've heard.
He caught me up on those. Yep.
Yeah. And you've heard of all these. I feel like they're fairly popular ones.
Yeah, I'll definitely listen. With an open ear to it.
I definitely want to hear it. Sometimes I'm like, no.
Right.
Other times I'm like, well, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're so awkward, dude.
Who is?
Wish you weren't so awkward, bud.
Wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud.
Listen, Trailer Park Boys is way better than
No.
Letterkenny.
I reject your reality, sir.
It's true.
No. Absolutely not true.
It's true, man.
You can't fuck with Canadians, man.
I know.
Especially your brother.
Yeah.
Well,
Now we're getting to some PI.
I said that earlier. Damn.
I have not brought up any PI. I didn't say his name. I didn't say her name.
No.
You said your birthday, you psychopath.
I didn't say what year, bro.
Well, I mean, you can get in the ballpark, I bet.
I mean, I don't know. I look old as fuck, so.
You are old as fuck.
I know.
Just
yeah.
kidding. I'm the oldest one in this room, aren't I?
Dude, you know what I realized? What was it? Yesterday is this year I would have hit 19 years in the Navy. I'm like, bro.
Dude, I went and I stopped by my old unit.
Yeah.
And I was like, just to pop in and say hi and like see the new building that they had. And I was like, oh, what about this sergeant? And this fucking dude I went to basic training with and was in my unit. And I'm like, what about this sergeant? And this fucking kid goes, oh, he retired last month. I'm like, what the fuck? Ah! Old!
Right.
How painful that was to have this little fucking 12-year-old telling me the dude I went to basic training with retired.
Oh, I know. Yeah, right. Right.
Just like.
Right.
Hard pass.
I know, it is crazy. Yeah, because like one of my really good friends, he's got like fucking 23 years in at this point, and he's just like tired, dude. Like all the time, this guy.
Yeah.
Too much watch, too much duty, like I was saying earlier.
Too much.
Yeah, you had some of that watching duty in the Marine Corps.
I definitely did.
Ugh.
Yeah, we had kitchen duty for a while. That was it. KP. Fire guard. That's training shit, though.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, we talked about the spider, talked about the grinds, liquid death, Dixon, save one hero.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your cervix.
Wow.
What?
I heard it.
Thank
you for service?
Yeah. That's not what you said, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We'll play that one back later.
Let's see how many people catch that.
We're at the end of the episode. No one's going to get it.
They're like, these guys are so boring.
Listen, I'm about to do something cool. I'm going to be like, look, if you're watching this at this point and you fucking comment and you're the first person to comment the number 5, I'm going to get you a gift.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bam. See what I did there?
All right.
You like that?
The chief gift.
Yeah, the chief gift.
The gift of the chief.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's borderman appropriation.
This is like making me question life.
Dude, it's good, right?
Yeah, I feel like A, I got smacked in the face with a fucking cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
And B, I feel like somebody shot some caffeine in my veins.
It's like the best thing. Doesn't have all the bullshit of an energy drink, just fucking hits you in the face with some life. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the 25-gram one. There's a 50-gram one.
It's kind of wild.
How do you think I drive trucks?
Yeah.
I had to stop drinking energy drinks.
Oh, yeah.
I was drinking, I should probably not tell people how many energy drinks I was drinking a day. And Castle was like, you gotta stop, dude.
I know. They're addictive, A. And B,
they work.
Yeah, they work.
They work.
And I mean...
They work until you drink so much that there becomes a point that they don't work anymore.
So, okay.
That's true.
Right, like diminishing returns.
I was at that point. I was putting 4 cans a day down in a fucking 12-hour day.
Those are lucky numbers, son.
Yeah.
I was worried for a second you were going to say like 8 or 9. You're like, okay.
I've had those days. On an average, I was at 4. We're not talking about fucking ribbits here. You know?
Oh, fucking ribbits, bro. Oh, shit. Don't even get me started.
Ribbits, though. In-country
Oh,
ribbits. They're
man,
not the same as you can
No,
find on the
I'm
shelf
sure they're
nowadays.
not.
No,
You
yeah.
gotta get the non-regulated, made with like filtered Iraqi water. Those are the good ones.
Fucking ribbits and a pack of charms.
No, you throw the charms away.
Stop, dude.
No, because you can make it rain.
No,
What?
charms are bad luck.
No, you eat charms and it fucking rains.
Yeah, because it's bad luck.
Not if you're in a fucking desert.
Okay.
Are you out of the loop on this?
Nope. Oh, am I?
Do you know what charms are?
The little candies,
These little fucking fake lifesavers and MREs.
No. Okay. I don't think I ever saw those.
Have you ever had an MRE?
Oh yeah. Well, it was funny because No Go was like, I was like, oh yeah, I might grab some like, fucking MREs for camping or whatever. He's like, oh, I can tell you're in the Navy and blah blah blah,
You
like
fucking
an
eat MREs willingly.
And I'm like, look, man, I probably ate more MREs than you did, and I was like, but there are some that are actually pretty fucking decent, and they're really convenient.
Chili Mac.
Chili Mac.
Yeah, I like the Chili Mac.
Any of the red soups.
Yeah, I like the it's like the McRib almost.
Honestly, if you said chicken breast, I'm fucking leaving right now.
No, the worst
I
one
know
is
the ribs. Yeah, I know that
the
one.
worst one is chicken tetrazzini. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one's
like,
dog shit.
Well, that and the veggie omelet.
So yeah, so like I mean,
We used to give those to detainees. Well, because it's the only like kosher one we could
Right.
give them.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and
And
I
then
mean like
so we had to stockpile.
when I was on deployment, I didn't eat a lot of MREs on deployment. Like there was times we're training in the field or whatever. When I went through combat training with the Army, they wouldn't even feed us MREs. They were giving us like fucking totems, which is like the half MRE. Yeah, they wouldn't even give us a full MRE. They're like, no, you're in training. You're on the range today. Here's this.
Did you get fucking Jimmy Dean's?
Mm-mm.
You know what Jimmy Dean's are?
5 Fingers of Death. That's the old Vietnam hot dog.
Okay, so not the beanie weenies, the fucking Jimmy Dean's. It was like this fucking, it's like a meat tray, like a styrofoam meat packing tray
Okay.
with like a really dry fucking sandwich, like maybe a fucking cup of like applesauce and like a half a slice of fruit, fucking saran wrap. That's it.
Nope, never got those.
Yeah, so we got on one of my deployments, we got extended by like a couple weeks, and I think I told you guys this. We started running out of food. It was towards the end of deployment. This was one of our last like legs where we're like out for like more than a couple months, and we started running out of fucking food, man. And then I think the same trip where they had a hot spot and like the boat's refrigerator basically. We tossed out a ton of food, and so like right towards the end, right before we're about to pull in, like we're eating like fucking buttered noodles and salted pork and like yes. Let's just say if you had any milk at that point, it was all powdered milk and powdered eggs.
Delicious.
That does a special something to my insides.
Yeah.
There's one thing you can always count on the MREs for is to fucking lock you up.
Oh yeah.
Brick.
Yeah. All right, so what else are we talking about?
I don't know. Tell me. We're at an hour and 43 minutes.
Yeah, let's fucking wrap this up. Damn, this is like turning into a...
We're making people crash now at this point.
Woo! Yeah. All right.
Thanks for popping on. Being
Yeah.
our
Thank
first
you guys for having me.
number one.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for swinging on by.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, brother.
I will always support you.
Thank you for your service.
Hell yeah. James.
Thank you, Jameson.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was gonna
Jameson, thank you for your service.
Yeah, buddy. Keeping this office safe,
The Skull Studio that has one skull in it. See you next week.